Day.
And I'm Richard Day.
We're both chiropractors.
We've been in practice together for 11 years.
Married for 10.
With 3 beautiful little girls.
We know it's possible to have an exceptional practice that's built around your life.
Because we've done it.
So we've created this podcast,
the Lifestyle Practice Builders Podcast.
We'll interview chiropractors, answer questions, and bring you resources to help build and grow your practice.
So let's get this party started.
Welcome back to the Lifestyle Practice Builders Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Haley Day, and we are now on our final week 5 of the 5 things you must know before starting a practice podcast series. If you haven't downloaded the ebook yet, then visit our website, lifestylepracticebuilders.com/ebook. Put in your information and we'll send you the free ebook so you can take notes and remember all the things we've talked about during this podcast series. If you're a practicing chiropractor, then stay tuned to the rest of this episode. We're talking about the marketing foundation every practice needs and the importance of evolving your marketing to grow in 2021. So whether you're a student looking to open your own practice or join a practice and help grow it, or you're currently a practice owner, this is a good episode for everyone to listen to. So week 1 of this series, we talked about the role your mindset will play in determining whether you'll be successful. We talked about being resourceful, resilient, and adaptable among many other things. Week 2, we talked about having a well thought out business plan that takes the vision you have for practice and gives you a roadmap to actually seeing that through to reality. Week 3, we talked about keeping your overhead low and why high revenue doesn't always equal high net profit or happiness. Last week, week 4, we talked about many of the systems you'll need in your office and how important they are to creating an effective, efficient, and enjoyable, well-oiled machine. And today, we are talking about marketing. And the landscape of marketing has changed quite a bit in the last year. Some chiropractors were forced to shut down. Others had many of their patients drop off their schedules. And some of you may have been trying to get started this year after graduating in this past year. So we might all be in different places in practice, but we all need to be marketing differently than we were a year ago. And certainly marketing has completely changed since we opened our office almost 12 years ago. So let's dig in to marketing week 5. Marketing is how your patients will find you and part of why they'll become your biggest fan. Marketing includes your branding, the services you offer, the promotions you do, the products you sell, your pricing, the blogs you write, how you advertise, and the way you network and use social media. And all of that is marketing and what you're doing for your practice to bring patients in. There are a lot of options out there, so it can be difficult to know what to do when you're first starting. Most of the time, patients will need to hear your message several times, though, before they even come in. So you'll need to make sure your brand is consistent, concentrated, and well thought out. You don't want to be using different names, different logos, different colors. You really want to stick to the same branding, the same name, and the same vibe throughout your branding. Your practice cannot survive without patients, which makes marketing extremely important to the health of your practice success. And so we talked about it as part of one of your systems last week. It's definitely one of the most important systems. And the cool thing about how things have changed in 2020 is that it's made it easier for you to start marketing now, even before you graduate. And we'll get to that in a bit. But if you are a student, you certainly can start a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about today before you even have a location. So marketing will take up 2 of your most precious resources when you're getting started. It's either time and money or both. And you'll need to decide which one, time or money, you have more of and use it. When we were first starting, we didn't have a ton of money for marketing, but we did try running a newspaper ad. We were in a small town, felt like that might be a good marketing tool to use there. The ad didn't bring in anyone, but eventually the newspaper did an article on us, and that brought in several new patients over the next month. So it didn't end up paying off in the end. And after that, we did door hangers, which were very effective. We would go over lunch, hang 300 or more on the doorknobs of homes in our community, and within an hour, new patients would start calling, which we thought was really cool. And after a period of time, we then could start paying someone to go actually put the door hangers on the doorknobs for us. And so it was a good marketing engine that we had running doing that. And that was working in the small town we were in. And getting the initial patients in the door was the most challenging, but once we were able to build up a solid base of patients that knew, liked, and trusted us, they started referring in others. And before too long, we had built a referral engine that organically produced 25, sometimes 50 new patients a month without us doing anything. And that allowed us to start attending events instead of having a booth at them. We were able to stop doing BNI. We could attend a couple chamber events a month and host a chamber event in our office every other year. And being consistent and putting a lot of effort for the first few years had really paid off for us. And we were able to focus all of our efforts after a while in the few places that produced the biggest results. So for the first couple of years in practice, we really tried to do everything that we could. But then after those couple years of building those relationships and putting in all that effort, we were able to kind of take our foot off the pedal, but then also focus our efforts in the places that were really helping us the most in the marketing department. Let's talk about some marketing things I've seen new chiropractors try that didn't work out. I want to steer you clear from making these same mistakes. And these chiropractors couldn't help but chase the next gimmick, thinking it's what their practice was missing, or they thought it would bring in some fast cash and make them quick millionaires. And a new tool, a new supplement program, a new tech gadget, or another certification isn't always going to work out like that. They end up costing loads of money and creating uncertainty with your current patients because you're constantly changing the focus of your practice. So it could be an expensive laser, a pricey television ad or news spot, slimy coaches with sleazy marketing gimmicks. We knew of one in Colorado that kind of preyed on new chiropractors and would charge them a lot of money to show them this marketing technique that he used that was kind of sleazy, and the chiropractors were really turned off by it. It didn't really work out, and they were really upset at themselves for trusting him. Some buy pricey equipment and specialized marketing for that equipment, or mass snail mail marketing, or paying a lot of money for online advertising. And all these things either drove chiropractors out of business, a couple into bankruptcy, and some even decided not to pursue chiropractic at all and are now in other careers. So you don't need these things. What you do need is all of the foundational elements that we talk about on every episode of this podcast. And it's not to say that you shouldn't invest in specialized equipment if you have a specialty that you provide, but be aware that you don't want to be constantly changing this. So if you decide that you need something now and it's going to value your practice better for your patients, then go ahead and make that investment, but make sure you're not changing that monthly or yearly and that you're really just building upon what you have already. You will not be an overnight success, so don't look for it. Building success will take time, so don't waste your time chasing gimmicks. Spend your time building a brand and a reputation. Be consistent and continually build on what you start in the beginning, and utilize all of the foundation elements that we talk about on the podcast throughout the episodes. I think there's one episode that we have, the 13 things of a successful chiropractic office. And so those are really the things you need to focus on, or all of the things that we talked about in this podcast series that we're doing currently. So let's talk about how you'll get started. If you're in school now, then this is important. Pull out your ebook or something to write on. If you're in practice, then listen for the things that you may not be doing yet. These are the foundational elements of your marketing system and building a strong marketing machine in your practice. So if you own a chiroplanner, then this is where you'll start reading through the ideal patient avatar. Get to know who that is so you can develop your branding based on that ideal patient. And a common mistake that I see is thinking that everyone is your buyer. And this might work for larger companies, but there's a reason that they say the riches are in the niches. And I'm going to talk about this more now because I think sometimes this can be lost in translation, and I want to help kind of build the picture for you. And a niche is where you'll have the most leverage using your unique talents and personality to grow your practice. And to develop a niche and appeal to buyers within the niche, you must understand their pains, their needs, and their priorities. So really thinking through your ideal patient avatar is going to help you do all of these things. These are all things we'll also be covering during the trainings next year inside the foundation. For anyone who's thought about purchasing the 2021 Startup Bundle, if you're starting a practice in 2021, we want to help. You can learn more about the Startup Bundle by visiting lifestylepracticebuilders.com/startup. And once you know all about your ideal patient avatar, then you'll want to start focusing on your branding. Branding will include your logo, how your office is decorated, your paperwork, any handouts you create or mail and send, your website, your social media accounts, and ultimately how and where you market yourself. If you need some help with this, then find someone local to help you. Think of some locally owned places you like to frequent and see who developed their branding and website. This is something that we did when we moved back to Kansas City. We had a little more money to put towards this, and so we found places that we really liked their online branding and walking into their brick and mortar place of business. And so we looked up on their website, saw who did their marketing, and contacted them to create ours. If you're on a budget, then use a service like 99 Designs or Fiverr to get a logo and move on from there. And it helps if you can find logos you like to give the designer an idea of what you're looking for. And so you really want to gear this towards your ideal patient. What's something that's going to attract them? What colors, what design features, that kind of thing. And we have a lot of information on logos. There might be some in our blog, definitely inside the foundation, about things we've learned through the years of creating our own logos. But you really are going to start with that. That's going to go on your business card, your website, your social media account. So it's a good place to start. Once you have a business name, logo, and colors, you'll need a website and social media accounts. If you're on a budget, then we recommend using Wix or maybe Squarespace for your website. We use Kajabi for ours. It's pricey, but we have a lot of additional functions we like that go with it. Like it's easy to develop the website ourselves. It includes email service and marketing funnels. We can develop courses and sell supplements. So there's a lot of reasons why we use Kajabi, but it's not right for everyone. Certainly if you're just now starting, but we like that it's easy to use, and but definitely not maybe where you want to start. When we first started, we created our website. I forget what platform we were on, but we eventually ended up on Wix. Then we paid someone to design it on Squarespace, and then we had another person move it over to WordPress. So we've kind of been all over the board. We've tried them all out. Find something that you can work with. All you need really is one page. People can scroll down and see your contact information, see pictures of you, and link to a blog, your services, that kind of thing. But it doesn't need to be real elaborate. But on the first page, when it comes up, you should have some sort of call to action. So schedule here, learn more about us here, something that directs them to actually scheduling with your office. A website is like the modern day business card, I think of it like. And according to HubSpot, 97% of people learn about local businesses online more than anywhere else. So your website is where you'll show who you are, the services you offer, where you're located, and how a potential patient can get in touch with you. I've heard of chiropractors starting without one, but not sure I'd feel comfortable recommending that. You will always own your website. Unlike other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, you don't own that. They can shut that down at any time. And so it's nice to have your website. You can generate organic traffic in addition to being a place to send traffic from advertising, other marketing initiatives. You can send them directly to your website. It also allows future patients to connect and learn before they walk in the door. So this will make your day ones much easier. When a patient walks in your office, they've seen pictures of the practice, they've seen pictures of you, they've read about you. All of those things really help to build that relationship before they even walk in the door. So while you're developing these foundational marketing elements, you'll want to be thinking about what makes you uniquely you and why are you the better choice? What makes your offer more valuable compared to the other chiropractors in your area? For me, I'm an active working mom that treats healthy, active moms and their kids. And so I'm an active mom. I have and treat my own kids, and I understand the challenges of both the working and the stay-at-home mom. I also have taken seminars on nutrition, child nutrition, care, craniosacral, activator, other things that make me a good fit for this population. So I accentuate that on the website so that when patients land on that, they read about me, they feel connected and like I can solve their problem. Do I treat patients outside of active mom and kid description? Yes. Ideally, I want to work with active moms and their kids. So that's the vibe that I put out, the words I use to describe what I do in my marketing. And then that's why they'll come to see me versus maybe landing on someone else's website that may talk about something else. When someone Google or Facebook searches for a chiropractor in your area, the more they connect with the vibe on your website, the more likely they will schedule with you. So it won't be everyone. Even if you have the most generic website, you're going to appeal to no no one. But if you have a website that attracts your ideal patient or really speaks to that population that you are looking to treat, then they will automatically see that when they come onto there and want to schedule and really only want to see you. So we recommend getting input from someone who is your ideal patient. If I want to change my logo or my website, I show my friends that are also active moms and see what they think. I'm not going to go ask Rich or even my brother or my stepdad because they're not my ideal patient, or even my mom, because I want to attract people that are in that ideal patient category for me. Everything I've talked about so far, you can be doing your last year in school. So if you are in your last year of school and you want to start some of these, building these foundational elements of your marketing system, then start thinking about your logo and your business name and your colors and your website, and start building out those things. And social media. So let's talk about social media, because it's another thing that you can be doing in your last year. For Facebook, you can set up a page for yourself that you can then transition into your office page when you have an idea of location and you've graduated and you're about to get your license. If you're in clinic, then you can start getting reviews on Facebook too. I'm also not against reviews by friends and family. It might seem a little scammy, but honestly, it's really not. If people like you, then they should share that. They don't have to say that they've been your patient. They don't have to lie. They can say, I've known Justin for the past 5 years. He's a great friend, and I'd recommend him to any family or friend. And so that's not lying. It just is saying, hey, Justin is a stand-up guy. I've known him a long time and definitely would recommend him to my friends and family. Or someone could say, I'm Mary's aunt and she's always been responsible and caring. She'll be a wonderful doctor. And it doesn't say that that person was treated by you. It just says that that person would trust you and thinks you're a responsible and caring person. So I know this might sound crazy, but honestly, people will appreciate that your family and friends shared such nice sentiments about you, and it will help to start building your brand today. And also have patients you see in clinic leave you a review, or other students and teachers, your pastor, someone that works out at the gym with you, people who can attest to you being a good person. It doesn't matter who they are or if you've treated them, they can leave you a review on Facebook, and I'm totally down for that. So hopefully you get the point and you're okay with that. If not, don't do it, but I think it's a good thing, and I think it'll get the ball rolling for you. It'll get you excited about practice and really start to build up your rapport on social media and online. So let's move on to Instagram. You're going to need to decide whether or not you'll use your personal profile or create a new one. And whatever it is, please make it public, because I think people need to look at you before they are even going to care about you. So if they come to your page and they can't see the thing and they don't know you and they have no reason for looking any further, they're not going to ask to follow you. They need to see some pictures. They need to see what you're interested in. And so when it's public, that allows them to do that. You can also go listen to episode number 138. I go into detail about your Instagram bio and other Instagram things about marketing on there. Once you have it set up, think about 5 categories that your ideal patient would enjoy content from and share those. But try to stick to these things. And one category you should all include is visits to local places. This helps share other businesses in your area and connect them for marketing your practice. Other categories will have to do with the things you offer or enjoy sharing with patients in your office, such as exercises, meals, healthy activities, nutrition, clean shopping, oils, supplements, a home gym, workout, any of those things that interest you and you enjoy sharing with patients, then you can include those in your Instagram. You want to develop all of these things first that I've talked about so far: branding, a website, social media accounts, because once you start meeting people, you'll probably start connecting with them using these platforms. So when you meet someone, you might give them your business card or tell them your Instagram account name or your website address, connect with them on Facebook, all of these ways. And it takes several touches for someone to get to know, like, and trust you. So if you're on social media, that makes it a little bit easier, but it also has made it so there needs to be a lot more touches. When we started our practice, the number of common touches that marketers would use is 7 touches. So someone would need to see 7 postcards from you or 7 television ads before they would actually end up scheduling with you. Now with social media, it's easier and cheaper to connect, but someone needs to see you like 38 times. So You better get to work. Put all this stuff together today. Next, you're going to create local awareness and establish a network in the community where you will practice. And in the Chiro Planner, we give 50 or more ways you can do this. The idea is to check many of the marketing opportunities in your area out in the beginning and find a few where you can really focus and make the most impact. Where are you most comfortable networking? But at first, you're going to try them all out. So like trying on clothes, you're going to join the chamber, business associations, community groups, a church, a gym, and find all these ways that you can get involved, because networking is a great way to capture business leads as long as you don't come on too strong. So make sure you listen to episode number 129. Rich and I talk all about our networking secrets. Networking allows you to meet new contacts and create more brand awareness and new referrals. You can sponsor sporting events, nonprofit events, or anything that is a good cause. Get your name out there while also being a generous giver in the community. Rich and I did free sports physicals for several years. Then we started sponsoring and giving money to the athletic program. Once we built that relationship, then we were the only practice invited to the school to do sports physicals on campus. And to this day, the amount of money and services we were able to give to the youth sports in our town is one of our greatest accomplishments. And we plan to build and give a lot more in the future. We've given a lot in Kansas City, and it's definitely one of the ways that we love to give back and be a part of the community. So if you're interested in kids and sports and schools, then that's a really good way to build relationships and get to know others in your community. Once you start getting patients in the door, you need to create loyalty with every one of them by giving exceptional care and service, because a happy patient will come back and will tell their friends about you. They will be your brand ambassadors. And in the beginning, these can be family and friends who help promote your business. So give them a t-shirt, a water bottle with your logo on it. These will really help you start to get that traction that you need when you first open. And last, we're going to talk about ad spend. You might have to spend more money getting started, either by using Google AdWords or Facebook, Instagram ads. I wouldn't blow your whole marketing budget on these though, because it can be costly and not build quite as fast as you would hope. It can be a gamble. So only use money you have to throw at it. Don't use money that you need. You must get out there and tell people who you are. And there's really no way around that. You cannot spend your way out of that hole. You have to build relationships. And you need to know why your product or service is different from the competition, and let people know that and let them know how to find you. Advertising is not a one-size-fits-all solution, so you really need to find what works for you and how much money you're willing to throw at that. More than anything, you have to focus on being consistent and having repetitive branding. People need to see and hear about you somewhere several times before they'll come in. And in today's world of constant connectivity, you must make sure you are seen and heard. The most common reason that people do not buy your product is that they do not know about it yet. So a large part of marketing is keeping track of goals and key performance indicators, as well as trying to relate each marketing effort to growth. Once you've experimented with a few things, pay attention to the data. This can inform you what's working, and as you grow, you'll be able to double down on the proven methods that you're using to generate new patients. Like I was saying before, in the beginning, Rich and I did a lot of different things, but once we really found what was working for us and what we really enjoyed being a part of, we loved working with the students at the schools. We loved being in our chamber and really being an active member and being on committees and boards within the chamber. Then that's where we spent all of our time. We kind of let all those other things go, like the newspaper ad and other things that we had tried. We didn't do really well at races. And so we quit setting up booths. That wasn't something we enjoyed. So you find where you're comfortable and kind of double down on that after you've been in practice 2 years. In 2020, we've started connecting with other providers on social media, then leading that to Zoom meetings, and building a relationship with actually meeting in person is possible. Prior to COVID, this wasn't happening as much. It was very much in-person events and business meetings. Linking through online was kind of taboo before, but it's become much more normal the last couple years, and then especially with COVID. And I think it's a hell of a lot easier if you ask me. So start connecting with providers in your area. Even if you're still a student, you can start connecting with them and building kind of a rapport with them by just commenting on their Instagram pictures or their Facebook posts. And then you can develop that more once you move to the area and have your license. We also connect and help promote other local small business businesses on our social media accounts, mainly restaurants because we love food and we love to eat out a lot. But any of your favorite stores or businesses you frequent, would love a shout out from you. They can be slow to catch on. So some businesses may not respond at all, but don't let that stop you because your patients will really appreciate following your post about local businesses and events, and they'll appreciate that you are spending your money locally as well. So people will notice even if it's not that other business noticing. So these are all the marketing things you need to be focusing on as you start your practice. Or if you're currently in practice and you haven't put a lot of time and effort into building this marketing foundation that I've described today, then I recommend taking a step back, figuring some of this out. If you're doing well enough, then it might be a good time to hire someone to help with this. Be careful though of expenses and make sure that if you're paying for someone's help with Google AdWords or Facebook, Instagram ads, that you have a way to track that and make sure you know what you're paying for and that you're getting a decent return on your money. You don't want to just be throwing money at social media and Google AdWords without really knowing if it's working for your practice. Your action plan for this week is to put together a marketing plan for opening your practice. If you have a Chiro Planner, use the ideal patient avatar to start, read through the marketing ideas, and get an idea of your overall vision for growing your practice. If you join us in the foundation or purchase this 2021 startup bundle, then we'll also cover some of the more advanced marketing strategies, lead magnets, email marketing, SEO, blogging, keyword search, headline optimization, marketing funnels, all of those things within the foundation. We're looking forward to 2021, helping you get open and grow. If you're interested in working with us as you open your practice next year, then download our free ebook at lifestylepracticebuilders.com/ebook and visit lifestylepracticebuilders.com/startup to learn more about the 2021 startup bundle. With the bundle, you'll receive a Chiro Planner in the mail and a full year inside the foundation, our online membership library to walk you through starting up your first practice. We'll also have trainings and answer your questions inside the private Facebook group. So 2021 is going to be a great year. Now that we've finished the 5-part series, I have some interviews I've been recording to share with you. So stay tuned to those over the holidays. I'm also putting together a plan for the podcast in 2021. We've covered so much in the last 6 months. If this is your first episode, then definitely listen back over the last 50 episodes. There's a ton of value there. You can visit our blog by going to lifestylepracticebuilders.com/blog. You can visit a certain podcast and read the podcast transcript by visiting lifestylepracticebuilders.com/blog/167 or whatever the podcast number is that you want to read through. That would be for today's. If you want to listen to today's episode or read through the transcript for today's episode number 167, you'll go to lifestylepracticebuilders.com/blog/167. If you want to read through others, then you'll use those episode numbers instead. I appreciate you all for following along. Take care and have a great weekend.
If you enjoyed this podcast episode, please share it with your friends on Instagram and Facebook. And for those of you who are already subscribers, we really appreciate it. Thanks for the reviews. We love reading those and knowing that you're loving the podcast. If you're looking for more tips and inspiration, be sure to check us out at lifestylepracticebuilders.com or join our business and marketing Facebook group for chiropractors at facebook.com/group/lifestyle practice.